Hi, my name is Matthew, and this is my security program roadmap for Across the States Bank. So, just kind of the agenda going into this, I'm going to be talking about purpose and justification behind implementing the security roadmap. I'm going to be talking about the technological literacy skills that are required and necessary to effectively implement this plan, goals and objectives in doing this, maintenance in creating efficient and effective IT system performance, the application of best practices and frameworks within this program, fundamental security design principles, security failures, and violated design principles that we can capitalize on, and then monitoring and controlling of the structure of this security roadmap. So first things first, purpose and justification. So as the digital infrastructure of the banking industry evolves and changes over time, there's going to be new technologies, new risks, new compliance standards, and new solutions that are driving the next era of banking, as many look to take advantage of new opportunities that we can apply to financial services. So the technological literacy skills that I believe are necessary in implementing this plan are adaptation, evaluation, and comprehension. I think those all need to be considered. Starting with adaptation, staying informed about current events, staying up to date about cyber trends and new technologies and how to implement them. And then this as a whole can just help create a more desirable and reliable organization that customers will be drawn to. And then evaluation, understanding which systems require the most attention, using acquired data to make informed decisions, and then understanding where the organization stands in relation to policies that are applicable to the banking industry. And then finally, comprehension, just finding out which systems are used and understanding how to use them, making sure that security professionals on the team know how to use the systems that we use every day. And then understanding the various solutions that we can implement to keep these safe. And then finally, maintaining an understanding of industry-specific policies that we're required to implement. Goals and objectives in implementing this plan. I think the approach I took is very similar to gap analysis. So step one, I started with assessing the current state of the security posture at Across the States Bank. And that includes performing assessments and audits, and then comparing compliance standards against those. Step two, identifying threats and vulnerabilities, looking at every form of attack and then pinpointing which ones create the most impact and then addressing those appropriately. Step three, assigning responsibilities, making sure that we build a diverse team that can address all areas that we need to cover, and then defining separate responsibilities for each of them and being able to maintain accountability within that process. Step four, creating and implementing solutions and strategies for reaching that desired state. So I started with the current state, and now we're going to look at the desired state, and we can do that by using applicable standards and regulations to get where we want to get, and then creating policies like an incident response plan. And then finally, step five, reassessing and monitoring the progress of the roadmap consistently, making sure that it meets all the standards we want to meet. We can do that through auditing, security assessments, and using security information and event management systems. Next, looking at maintenance, the maintenance behind how we can maximize the performance of our IT systems. This includes a basic understanding of our hardware, software, network performance, data integrity, and cybersecurity posture, understanding what we need to do to implement an effective system under our infrastructure. And then types of maintenance that we can implement include preventive, corrective, proactive. Under that, preventive, we can implement antivirus software, patch management, intrusion prevention systems. Under corrective, we can do backups, implementing incident response plans, as I mentioned before, and the goals and objectives, and then quarantining systems when a virus hits, because it's never 100% guaranteed. And finally, proactive, which means upgrading systems, implementing modern tools, just whatever we need to make this work. Application and best practices and frameworks that we can apply to this roadmap, 5 that are really crucial to not just the banking industry, but also cybersecurity infrastructure as a whole. PCI DSS, the ISO 2700 series, NIST 853, and SOX and COBIT. So those PCI DSS and SOX are really important to the banking industry. They set standards for how we deal with fraud control and credit card information, and then just basic cybersecurity frameworks under the ISO, NIST, and COBIT. Fundamental security design principles that we should consider and implement include least privilege, defense in depth, minimizing the attack surface, and the separation of duties. How do those interrelate? Well, they work together to create that defense in depth structured framework, and all contribute to maintaining that confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the data that we control. Methods of application: we can make default permissions as restricted as possible. We can implement multi-tiered controls for physical, network, and administrative security. We can use zero trust policies, scan for vulnerabilities, segment the network, implement training programs, and then we can require multiple variables for the completion of a process to implement separation of duties. Security failures: some common security failures and violated design principles for the banking industry include ransomware as a service and distributed denial of service attacks. So those are going to be the primary focus for this roadmap, and these typically violate least privilege and defense in depth under ransomware, and attack service reduction under DDoS attacks. So we'll definitely want to put more attention on those areas as we develop this roadmap. And then finally, monitoring and just monitoring and controlling the structure of the security program roadmap as we develop it and continue to expand upon it in years to come. Just some considerations that we need to take include identifying the data and the systems that will be addressed. That's going to change as the roadmap changes, as technology changes. Our priorities are going to change as well. And then creating auditing processes for specific devices and user behavior, just making sure that that evolves appropriately as new attacks come into play. Building a diverse security team, assessing risks and vulnerabilities consistently, and then reviewing those results and adapting accordingly. Implementation: we need to establish roles and responsibilities in the security team to effectively implement these protocols. We need to install the hardware and the software that we need to achieve these goals and objectives. We need to apply specific auditing policies, meet together as a team, and figure out what we need to address under those policies, and then just adapt appropriately based on results from monitored operations. And these are my references, and that's it.